Good morning, YouTube. What's going on? BD Kane 721. Another beautiful day here in San Diego in the month of January. Can't complain. I've got a special video today, something that I've been waiting a little bit of time to do because I've been waiting on some cards to come in the mail. And just so happened to be after the new year, which is a perfect timing for me. I'm going to be doing something in 2021 a little different than what I normally do for my collection goals for the year. I know everybody's been doing recap videos of 2020 and what they're going to be doing in 2021. And I like all those videos, don't get me wrong, those are great videos. I thought I would do something similar, but this year, given the state of the hobby, I'm going to have to do something a little differently to enjoy collecting. Last year was not very enjoyable for me. I was only able to get through one Topps Chrome set. Actually, I'm still not done. The purple set still needs Zach Gallen and Yordan Alvarez to complete that set. I was able to get through the indigo Chrome of, what was it, Gypsy Queen, I think. I did get through that set, collected that set completely for 2020, but it just wasn't fun. Obviously, the pandemic had a lot to do with it, but the rising prices are really hurting collectors like myself. So I have to adapt or die, basically, and that's what I got that saying from Billy Bean on Moneyball. For those of you that know that scene where he basically tells his head scout to adapt or die, and that's what I'm going to do. For this year, I'm going to start a PC of a particular player, something I've never done. Don't know if it's going to stick or not for me because it doesn't. It seems like it's going to be difficult. I admire everybody out there who does a player PC. I love watching their videos, especially guys that are a little bit older, maybe, and it's a little tougher to get their cards, especially if they're Hall of Famers. But I had to go through the process of selecting a player, and so I wanted to show off sort of my process here, and then get into the actual player collection that I have right now. So the first thing I checked off is whether or not I wanted to do something vintage or something a little more modern. I'm not a big collector of vintage. I don't really know much about it. And so I feel like it would be a big risk if I were to go the vintage route. So I'm staying away from vintage. Of course, I grew up in the junk wax area, like a lot of us on YouTube did, and then there's a lot of you that didn't, but I certainly did. And so the junk wax period of our hobby in the 80s and early 90s just doesn't really excite me. I did have players in that time frame that I followed religiously. Players like Wade Boggs, who I enjoyed, one of my dad's favorite players, so of course I had to follow him because my dad did. Players like Barry Bonds, who is a little controversial, but somebody that would be a lot easy to collect. There's a lot of Barry Bonds products out there, but again, most of it's junk wax period. Don Mattingly was another guy that I collected when I was a kid because I really enjoyed watching the Yankees on TV growing up in South Jersey. I was a Yankees and Phillies fan, but I was also a Montreal Expos fan because I liked Tim Raines, and so I collected a ton of Tim Raines when I was a kid. I sent away TTMs to him every year. Well, not every year, but most of the years that I was collecting as a youngster. And most of them came back with signatures, and I still have them. And I don't think I've ever shown them off, excuse me, in this YouTube community, so maybe someday I will. But all of those players are great choices, but players that don't really excite me, so I thought I would collect somebody of the modern era. Derek Jeter came to mind, but his stuff is going to be just too expensive for me to collect at this point, and he's too popular of a guy to start collecting. Speaking of expensive, if I were to try to collect a Mike Trout PC or have a really extensive Mike Trout PC, I probably would go into the poorhouse, and my wife would not be happy about that. So, of course, that's going to be out of the question. Although I still have a tiny Mike Trout PC. I added a card just the other day with eBay bucks, and I'll probably continue to do that as we move forward. So, of course, I came to the realization that I am a San Diego Padres season ticket holder, excuse me. I've been living in San Diego for about 20 years now, and I don't see myself moving from San Diego. It might happen, but I doubt it. And why not collect a San Diego Padre? And now, with everything that's been going on with the Padres, it's the perfect time to get involved in a player PC when it comes to the San Diego Padres. Of course, the number one player that you could collect at this point as a Padre fan or as a Padre season ticket holder is Tatis Jr. I would be foolish to try to collect him on a high level at this point. And we could go into a very long discussion about why that is. He's very early on in his career. You don't really know how a player is going to go when they're still in their first 2 or 3 years. He's only played in basically a season and a half. Not even a season and a half. Actually, the number of games he's played probably equals less than one total season. So we really haven't seen a full season of him just yet. He definitely has the talent. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not talented, because he is. But you just never know. So it's way early, and his cards are way too expensive to take that kind of risk. So as much as I would like to PC Tatis, I'm going to stay out of that pool and try to get into another one. So what else? Who else can you, on the Padres, could you collect? You know, they're the rookies, the younger guys. Obviously, you could look into guys like that. I started collecting Chris Paddock a little bit a couple years ago, thinking that he might be the next ace of the staff. He's not turning out to be that guy. Last season, he had a tough season. Now, you could write off last season because of what was going on. I'm going to give him another year and see if he maybe proves me wrong. But I think he might actually be somebody that will not be a Padre for quite a bit of his career. So he might be gone, in the next 1 or 2 years. Dinelson Lamet is rising. There is some concern about his health after last season, ending his season with an injury. Don't really know what his future is going to be, but he's definitely somebody that you might want to look at, although too young, too early. As everybody knows, I'm very high on Trent Grisham. I think he's one of those guys that's just going to become a solid player for the team long term. Don't know how good he's going to get, but he's certainly going to be a solid defensive player and a solid hitter. Just not sure about him to a point where I would get into a player PC. So that leaves me with, and I actually didn't bring one of the other guys' cards. Will Myers is another guy that I thought, as a semi-veteran of the team, might be another choice. And I wish I'd brought his card, but I didn't. The thing about Will Myers is again, he's a guy that I don't see on the Padres long term. He has a big contract that once it's up, I'm sure they're going to probably get rid of him. They don't want to re-sign him with all the other big contracts that are on their team. The other veteran on the team that you could look at is Eric Hosmer. And I was extremely close to selecting Eric Hosmer as the guy that I would PC. And I really like Eric Hosmer. He's not a big name. He's certainly not a household name in most collectors' eyes. But if you're a Padre fan and you've watched them during the time that he's been on the team, whenever he is not in the lineup, not on the field, there's a drastic difference in the team chemistry. And so he is, in my opinion, the unsung hero of the team and leader of the team, but nobody really talks about him. So again, another conversation we could have for a long time about how important Eric Hosmer is to the Padres. But you Kansas City Royal fans out there probably know what I'm talking about. He's an extremely important player, and almost selected him. So who does that leave us with? Of course, that leaves us with the one guy that maybe I shouldn't PC for reasons, but there are reasons why I should, and that's Manny Machado. And the thing about Manny Machado that I know everybody's thinking at this point is, well, why? The guy is pretty much hated throughout the league. Not hated. I guess that's a pretty strong word for a guy like that. but he's not well liked. Let's put it that way. Which is perfect for San Diego. He signed a big contract here. Nobody really thought it was a good idea to come to San Diego, but I'm sure those individuals who have said that over the last couple of years are probably thinking to themselves, well, maybe it wasn't that bad of an idea. It's kind of coming into focus. San Diego has welcomed him. I have not seen anything related to all of the issues that he's had in other places. I've not seen any of that since he's been here in San Diego for the last 2 seasons. I think he's maturing. You know, he's married. He's married to a woman whose brother is Yonder Alonso, so he's got a great source there in the world of baseball to go to. I've seen many reports and articles about. I've read many articles and seen a lot of reports on TV about him and what he's been doing in the community. He seems like a guy who's coming into his own in life in general. So I'm really impressed with him. And the reality of this guy is he's got tremendous talent. Great third baseman and a pretty decent hitter. He's not a 330 guy or a 50 home run guy, but he's going to hit you 280. He's going to hit 30 home runs a year, and that's pretty good, especially for a team like San Diego. And let's face it, guys, this is a future Hall of Famer. I know that hurts some people to hear, but he is a future Hall of Famer as long as he stays healthy in his career. And at third base, there's a good chance he will. Let me tell you what some of his stats are. What is he, 27? He's 20. I'm looking him up right now. He's 28. He's going to turn 29 in July. He already has 223 career home runs in the league, and that's with one shortened season. So if you let's just estimate he plays solidly until he's 35 years old. So 7 years. Let's give him 7 more years, and he averages 30 home runs a year. He's going to start getting up into the high 400s of career home runs. And more than likely, he will get to 500. If he gets hurt, all this is thrown out the window. I get it. But let's say he doesn't. And he has a track record of really not getting hurt. So if he gets to 500 home runs, do you really argue that he's a Hall of Famer? That's rarefied air in the world of the major leagues. He's kind of in the same vein of Bryce Harper, would you agree? You know, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado both had kind of interesting early stages of their career. You know, they were a little bit erratic in their personalities and their actions. And I think both of them are sliding into this more mature personality world than they've been in. So I'm looking forward to watching him as a Padre. I don't know if he'll be a San Diego Padre for the rest of his career, but it could happen, I guess. Not sure that it will. He's got a 10-year contract. He's done 2. He's guaranteed to be here for 5 total, so he's got 3 more years here, and then he could probably go from there. But it'll be fun, and we'll see. So enough of that. Enough of my little soapbox thing. But I wanted to show you what I've done over the last couple of months with this idea. And this will take a few more minutes, so I'm sorry about the long video. Hopefully you've hung around till now. And I wanted to show you what I've been able to collect to this point. Some of these I already had, and a lot of them I've purchased on eBay or through Blowout. I've split this binder up into sections, and you can see here they're split up by years. And so I've got 2021 sitting there as well. I don't have these in any order. I just threw them in here based on a section. So if the first section here of pages is anything prior to 2014. So you're going to see some cards in here from like 09, 2010, maybe 2012, and definitely 2013. So just kind of throw them in here when I get them. If I'm not putting duplicates in here, so it's all going to be, one it's just going to show, I'm just going to have one card of each if I can get them. So here's a 2014 section. So you can see I just started, really. There's only 3 cards from 2014 that I have. 2015, there's only 1 card. It's actually a short print of him and Trout from 2015 Topps Flagship. 2016, got a few more. There's actually this card here is a Diamond King, but it's a bat and patch or a bat and jersey, so it's a little thicker. So one of the things I wanted to ask you guys is, what do you do about thick cards? I'm going to show in a few seconds here some thick cards that I've gotten or received that can't fit in these pages, so I'm not really sure what to do. Here's 2017. Here's 2018, so I've got a little bit more in 2018. Just actually one page full of 2018. 2019 is when you start seeing them in the Padre uniform, so this is my favorite section of the binder. Quite a few really nice looking cards in 2019 and 2020. Was able to get a few of those. Even got this nice Topps Chrome Black. I think that's the blue refractor, number 275. And a few more on the end here, including the Topps Finest for 2020. So that's where I'm at with the binder. And I do have some other cards that I've been able... I bought a huge lot of Machado cards from a guy who lives in Baltimore and was a huge Machado fan, and he just wanted to get rid of them to somebody who would appreciate them. So he had a bunch of these kind of cards as well. I got a 9 of 9 triple patch or triple jersey from 2016, I believe. Right, I'm sorry, 2016. Awesome. I think it's Topps triple threads maybe, but 9 of 9, really cool. This Diamond Kings, got a little patch and jersey here out of 10. So again, these are so thick I can't get these in the binder. So hopefully I can figure out how to do that. If you guys have any idea, let me know. Here's a really cool little patch numbered out of 25. I think this might be Tribute. Not sure what this is. Here's a dirty patch, or I think it's what they call it, 1 out of 10. Really awesome, just sick right there. This is another patch. Remember, this is 25 of 25 from Strata. Really awesome card. And the last one I have is a 3 of 3 from, I think again it's triple threads maybe, but just a sick little card right here, 3 of 3. Next to a Superfractor that I don't have. This is the lowest numbered card I have. So some sick stuff from this guy that sent me his lot, and the binder's off to a great start. So again, this should be fun. It's going to be challenging. I don't really know how this is going to go at this point. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see this through for 2021, but I'm going to give myself the whole year of 2021 to come up with a sick binder of Machado cards. Let me know what you guys think. Sorry for the long video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, whatever it takes, and I will talk to you guys soon. See ya.